Hey, what's going on, guys? Leo. So today we're going to talk about the Tom Lee treasury buy. We're also going to get into the new layer 1 blockchains that have launched. So let's go ahead and dive in. So Tom Lee announced from Bitmain that they just filed to expand the ETH purchases by $20 billion. That is absolutely huge. We know that Tom Lee has publicly said that he wants to acquire 5% of the entire Ethereum supply. And this is a massive statement that they are committed to doing that. So, and they aren't the only one. So we take a look at another treasury company here. We have EFG Nexus. They bought 200 million worth of Ethereum to target a 10% network stake. So between EFG Nexus and Tom Lee's Bitmain alone, that accounts for 15% of the entire Ethereum supply. These treasuries are very committed to getting very aggressive here with their Ethereum purchases, and we are seeing the price react to this. So you'll notice here that Ethereum is in this massive, or at least it was, it's actually breaking out of this massive bull flag spanning 4 years, and it is just starting to go vertical here. You know, I do expect a pullback at some point. I don't know where that would be. If I had to guess, the only guess that I could have is the all-time high. Maybe we tap the all-time high, we come down a little bit for a breather, and then we continue on, which is what it did in the past. So it's going to be interesting to see how aggressive things get here. Reason being mostly because of the treasuries. You know, you have a lot of treasury companies that are saying, hey, we want 5% of the entire Ethereum supply. The price is getting away from them. They're going to want to try to get this as cheap as possible, but they're also going to want to get into it. So, you know, this is institutional FOMO. They're wanting to get in because they're starting to realize that ETH will be the asset that secures every single other asset in the entire world. All of DeFi, RWAs, all of that is going to live on Ethereum. And with that, I want to pivot and I want to talk about the layer 1s. So we got news that Circle and Stripe decided to launch their own layer 1 chains, and this left a lot of people really confused. My understanding is they're wanting to build out their own layer 1 chains. They are EVM compatible, meaning Ethereum virtual machine, but the problem is they are not on Ethereum. Now, from what research I've done, this choice was done because they want it to be a dedicated system for stablecoin transactions. But here's the problem. Where is stablecoin demand? Yes, it's at retail storefronts, but it's in DeFi. It's in buying RWAs. It's in buying other assets that are on DeFi. And so the problem that Circle and Stripe are going to run into is, yes, you can create your own custom situation with a layer 1 that isn't connected to Ethereum, but you can also do that with an Ethereum layer 2. Ethereum layer 2s are cheaper because Ethereum, the base layer, takes care of the security. With an Ethereum layer 2, you get your own branding. So all of the advantages of having your own layer 1 are there with an Ethereum 2. And I think that they've kind of missed the ball here because the big picture is that being part of the Ethereum ecosystem, and other layer 1s have found this out. For example, I believe it's called Celo, S-E-L-O. They were a L1 and then they pivoted to being an L2. So what they're going to find is that the dollars that are tokenized, these stable coins, are going to want to be in the Ethereum ecosystem. They're going to want to participate in loans that are built out on the Ethereum ecosystem. They're going to want to participate in DeFi, buying different assets, whether it's some sort of an NFT, like a concert ticket. All of that is going to be built within the Ethereum ecosystem. And they open themselves to additional risk of having to bridge between non-Ethereum ecosystem into the Ethereum ecosystem, and that is not a good thing because bridges get hacked. And with interoperability between the Ethereum layer 2s coming with, I believe it's called synchronous composability, they're all going to just feel like one chain. So they're putting themselves at a massive disadvantage by not being part of the Ethereum ecosystem and tapping into that broader market. It's the difference between building a storefront in Manhattan and building a storefront in a desert. So this kind of begs the question, why are they doing it? What is the advantage to them? And I frankly don't have a good answer. I have been doing research all morning trying to figure out what is the advantage of having a specific stablecoin chain away from the Ethereum ecosystem, and I really can't find much. So I'm going to make a prediction here. I believe that these will pivot and they will become Ethereum layer 2s within 1 to 2 years. I don't see a situation where you have tokenized dollars that are not going to want to participate in the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's much more advantageous to them to go ahead and just pivot into an Ethereum layer 2 than try to stay siloed and all alone. It's just not going to work out. It just isn't. You know, this is akin to a company refusing to put their product on Amazon, and they don't get as many sales as a result because now they're having to compete with Amazon for ad space on Google or wherever it may be, and they just end up not getting as much business. So eventually they pivot and they say, fine, we'll put our product on Amazon instead of trying to build our own website to have the product. It just doesn't work. It's just not a smart business model. And even more so with the Ethereum ecosystem, just because of how big it is. Like, you can't compete against it. So in other news, on Forbes, they are predicting ETH to $10,000. Now, this is one of the more bearish predictions that I have seen, so take it with a grain of salt. Some of the other silly ones are like, oh, maybe it'll go to 6,000, but those are the bear people speaking. I believe it was Joe Lubin who just said that within 12 months he sees it, and I could be, maybe I dreamed this, but I'm pretty sure that Joseph Lubin of Consensus had just come out and said that he believes that it could be at $40,000 within the next 12 months. Now, this was interesting. The jobs reports apparently look ugly. So Unusual Whales had tweeted out, breaking new BLS chief Anthony suggests pausing monthly jobs reports. Now, why would they want to pause reporting the monthly job reports? Obviously, that means that they're ugly. If they're great, then they would, of course, want to, put that out there. So if they're pausing the data, this confirms it for me. If job reports do come out that they are bad, right? That just increases the rate, the chance that the Fed is going to start cutting rates. So right now they're pricing in about a 90 or 95% chance that they are going to cut it by 25 basis points, which risk assets like ETH and Bitcoin are going to really enjoy that. But if it comes out job reports are bad, because this is one of the key metrics that the Fed has been saying that they are concerned with, that they're watching. And we just got news that the job market has weakened significantly with revised numbers. So if they are getting worse, then we could see an unexpected 50 basis points cut in September. We're just going to have to keep an eye on that. And then we also had CPI year over year come out. They were expecting that to come in at 2.8%. This is inflation for those that don't know. But it actually came in below expectations at 2.7. So again, inflation is not accelerating, giving the Fed more leniency with cutting. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. You have any questions, drop in the comment section down below, and I'll see y'all soon.